This is Scott McKinley from Caviar Gold and Cavi Gold Records. You're listening to Word on the Street.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Zim of the Zim and A-Rock, and this is Word on the Street, where we discover and celebrate the culture of the Seattle music scene. Thanks a lot for being back here with me again this week. This is version 143 of the podcast, and we got Among Authors on it. But before we get to that, I have a really super short intro to talk to you about a little bit. First, I just want to mention just why it sounds a little different. I'm recording this on my phone, so hopefully it turns out good, because I can't record on my computer right now because I don't have an audio interface. And the reason I don't have an audio interface is because I had to upgrade my OS. I was having some slowness issues with my computer, and so I talked to the service over at Apple, and they were like, hey, you should upgrade your OS because that's the first thing we tell everybody to do. So I did that, and what happened because I did that, well, speed seems to be better. My video editing software is running much better now. Everything seems to be running much better, so that's great. But it means things aren't as compatible as that used. Like if you have older hardware, things will be not compatible with the new software, and that's what happened. My older audio interface is no longer compatible. I actually sold it. It's gone. I don't have it anymore. I got $20 for it. It's pretty rad. But I did order a new one. But until I get the new one in, I have to be creative on how I can record audio to get put onto the podcast. And so I'm recording on my phone because there's too much noise with my laptop mic. The fan and the kind of runnings of the laptop is too noisy to record directly on the laptop. So I'm using my phone. Hopefully it'll sound decent enough to record this intro for today. So that's my story about why it sounds different and what's been going on in the world of Word on the Street and the Zim a little bit. So there you go. You're caught up. You're a little bit. But if basically if you've been enjoying this conversation on Word on the Street, be sure to go to WOTSpodcast.com. That's the website for it. You can find out more information there. You can ask me directly anything you'd like at either through facebook.com/Word on the Street podcast, or Hotmail. I have an email account. It's on Hotmail. It's Word on the Street podcast at hotmail.com. So you can feel free to talk to me about that. And if you are interested in supporting the podcast in some way, just feel free to ask me how, and I will tell you how. But until that time comes, I hope you enjoy this conversation with Among Authors, and we're just going to get into it. This is the second time they've been on the podcast. I really love these guys. They're an amazing band from Seattle, obviously. But let's start talking with Among Authors. All right, let's do this. Hey, everybody.
Yeah. We're just going to tape it to your chest. Sorry.
That's all right. We were just, we're hanging out here in the Among Authors basement studio rehearsal space.
Den.
And this is our second round with Among Authors. So I'm really stoked to continue the story. And what I want to do just right off the top is let's just go around the horn, starting to my left, and we'll hear who that is, and just go around and say your name, what instrument you play, and I've been adding like what role in the band that you do that may be different, that may be unexpected outside of some of the normal, just I play guitar or something,
I'm Ian Ketterer. I play guitar, and I'm CFO, Chief Financial Officer.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not true. I mean, I make the website and stuff, so there's that.
Sure, you're deep interwebbing.
Yeah, deep interwebbing.
CFO.
Or
Do bands have
CTO,
CFOs?
Chief Technology Officer. Yeah, we'll do that.
There you go. I'll give you that. That's good.
All right, cool.
What was that? what?
CTO.
Is that real, or did you just make that up?
No, that's a thing.
No,
Oh.
I mean,
even if he made it
yeah.
up, that's what he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So websites and all that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm Ian. I'm sitting to the left of Jay, as you guys know, because that's the rotation we're going in.
Yeah. Have to stay in
And-
order.
Mm-hmm. And I do lead vocals and piano and record things. And like Jay said, he does kind of all the promotion stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
I don't do all the promotion
well, no,
stuff.
actually he doesn't, but sure he does.
Yeah.
Basically.
Go.
I'm John Livingston, and I play guitar. I'm also recording engineer, assistant mix engineer. Oh God, I need another title. What else?
That sounds right. You're also a big noisemaker. You make
I make noises.
a lot of
with
complex, weird noises.
my second instrument, which is the pedal board.
Cool.
I'm TJ. I play the drums, and I think I'm the hyphy guy. I think I just bring the positivity.
Yes.
That's probably true.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, good. Now we got names and voices and associations, so we'll know who's saying what when the time comes later on in the podcast.
Yeah, several low men's voices,
Yeah.
tired in the morning.
Hey, I'm ready to go.
Let's do it.
I've been up since 5:30 or something.
Wow.
Jeez.
I just couldn't. I just woke up. I was like, fuck it.
It's easy with the sun. It's been really easy with the sun coming up early.
Yeah. Are you one of those types?
Yeah.
I just get up.
And that
Yeah,
makes
it's
it
like-
better for sure. If
Yeah.
it's like winter and it's cold, you definitely want to stay under the covers.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's awful.
But I like to set up the theater of the mind. I kind of already started that for you guys, but I wanted you guys to describe this space. Let's get a little nerdy and detaily about what this space looks like and what it means to you.
Oh God, like what it looks like now.
Yeah,
Like, as
sure.
we okay.
And what
well,
it
it
should
looks like
look
a
like.
mess.
Yeah.
I mean,
Color of poop.
color. Yeah,
The color.
the walls are.
Yeah, there's a lot of brown.
Colors.
There's brown bricks, there's
Yeah.
brown concrete, there's
Uh-huh.
brown wood.
We also have our mixing monitors. The audio bounces off the concrete wall behind us, which is really good.
And the
Actually-
sofa, it gets
actually,
absorbed on the bottom
sofa,
half into the
actually, yeah.
sofa too.
The
For a
bottom
little
half is
bit,
good.
for a little bit, we did have some things diffusing the
Yeah,
sound.
and then they
up
kept
here.
falling off the ceiling,
Oh.
so it didn't work. But yeah, I mean, we kind of designed the space. I guess it's our studio. I mean, that's what we recorded our album in,
Yeah.
and it's our basement, and we set it up so that we could keep recording as we watch people live as much as we can. I mean, I don't know how much of that we ever really did, but I wanted to be able to look past the computer into where we're actually recording the instruments
Yeah.
instead of, because we had it against the wall and it was just like
Oh, okay,
facing
I
a
see what
concrete
you mean.
wall, and
Yeah.
it was kind of dumb. But regardless, yeah, I don't know. We got a bunch of carpets from
Our
Where?
old house.
Yeah.
We took this huge one from our old house.
Yeah, we basically
Stole
took
it.
a ton of rugs and stuff from our old house, and then went behind a carpet store, I think, and got a whole bunch of
Score.
yeah, we got a whole bunch of the padding that goes underneath it
Yeah.
in their trash can,
Yeah.
and put that underneath.
Is it
And
bare
then-
concrete under this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
It's
Ian
all
and
concrete.
Jay built a nice movable diffuser wall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the
Gobo.
best looking thing.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, that thing actually looks like maybe we
Oh,
bought
yeah.
it.
It's got wheels under it.
Cool.
Yeah,
And that
then-
that helped because that room sounds really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
that's the reverb chamber.
That's
that set up the theater of the mind. The next thing I like to do right off the top is just to give a general sense of the things we may talk about over this next, 50 minutes now, or 55 or so, of ideas. And one of them I know off the top that we're definitely going to do is the album. Kind of catch up with what's been going on with the album, because the last time you were on, you were just kind of, well, not even finished, but you had your digital release in a way, but we'll get into that in a second.
That was right before the release, right?
Yeah,
That we were on.
but we were
like
kind of
early August.
Yeah, we were promoting that in a sense more than anything else.
we released it before, but we recorded it way before we were done with the
Oh,
finishing writing some of the stuff. I think.
okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't
But
remember.
then we can also get TJ. TJ, did I do that right? Yeah, TJ
Yeah.
caught up too, because he's a new addition from the previous time we talked.
It's true. I
So-
didn't end up getting on the album. The album was
We
done
tried.
right when
We
I
were
started
talking
playing
about it. We're
drums.
like, we got to get TJ to do trombone or something.
Something.
Get something in there, and then
Sure.
we just kind of all
Yeah.
was a
Well-
cluster.
Maybe he was that crossfade. But anyways, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, TJ, you did the crossfade that had us.
It's all your fault.
But it will soon be revealed what we're talking about. And anything else you guys want to talk about that we could think of, just as and we'll come up with it as we go. But if there's something like, oh, this would be a good thing to kind of
Yeah,
Talk
well,
about
we're gonna do a shout out to TJ's new project too.
okay,
Hell yeah.
I got a new project, yeah.
cool.
Currently called Tim Tom, It's pretty wild.
Okay,
We'll talk about it in a minute.
We can get nerdy on that.
Oh, we should get nerdy on some gear too. We got the Moog going on now.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, we do.
Ableton in this band. We got a couple of dorky things going on.
Oh yeah, we do have Ableton going on.
So some.
I'm not
talk.
I don't know anything about Ableton, but we do have it.
But TJ does.
Yeah.
Well, the Moog, those songs that you play, you're talking about the little keyboard thing that you set on top of your other keyboard, right?
Yeah.
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 That thing, I love it when you play it. It's like, oh yeah, dude.
It's pretty sweet. It's actually Jay's, and then I just took it from him.
Oh, well, that's the
Yeah.
way it works.
That happens a lot. That happens a lot within bands. You know, hey, I'm stealing that piece of
Yeah.
gear from
Let
you.
me-
I'll
I
use
bought
that
it
for
for
a
the
while.
band.
Oh, good.
It's
He's
good.
altruistic over here.
Yeah.
That's-
I
Cool.
just bought us some pedals too, by the way.
Well, who wants to jump in?
Sweet.
Let's just, I don't know, tell me something about the album. I don't know where to start because there's obviously a lot that we could probably talk about. So I'll let you guys decide. Where do you want to start? What do you want people to know right now about the album process and stuff?
Who wants to go?
It's out. You
It's
can
out,
get it.
yeah.
now.
It's out. Yeah, I think we're
That's
all
true.
relieved that
That's the
that
most
it's done.
important thing.
You can buy the CD and pre-order the vinyl still.
Yeah. So, yeah, the vinyl, we don't have a release date on it yet. I don't know if we should talk about why.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
It's looming. We teased it already.
Okay.
You can feel the elephant is in the room.
Curious,
Yes.
when is this going to be released, roughly?
A couple years from now.
Cool. Alright. So it might be out by then.
No, I think about two months or so from recording
Okay.
this.
That's
Okay,
cool. So the vinyl would have been released about a week ago.
It's here. It's beautiful.
It's here. Yeah, it looks amazing. And it sounds pretty good too.
Yeah.
But there's a tiny crossfade that happened in the middle of the third song that makes the song like start like a part over like a second later than it should, and it sounds horrible and it shouldn't have happened. But I must have hit a keystroke on accident in Pro Tools when I was like bouncing the files or something.
Yeah.
And so we got 300 vinyl back, and they're all fucked, and we have to redo everything.
So like there are definitely somebody out there who's going, well, didn't you have like a test pressing something?
Yeah.
So explain
Word.
explain a little bit. Do you want to explain a little bit why it wasn't caught ahead of time?
Well, okay.
Okay.
It should have been caught. Let's just put that on the table. We should have all listened to it.
Yeah.
I thought
That
we
was-
did a couple times.
No, not all the way through. We
Well, you
listened
get
to
so
like
you-
aspects.
Like you get so used to listening to it so many times that
Okay,
you're like
yeah.
you listen to sections, you're like, okay, yeah.
That's the thing. When you write for about 4 years,
Yeah.
and then you record it for like hardcore recording for a year, and then you mix it, and you're done with the digital mix, and then you go back and mix it for another 7 months, and you do the CD mix, and then you do the vinyl.
Yeah.
You've heard it a million times, so you know in the middle of the song, there's no way a fucking crossfade could happen.
Yeah.
But the reason we didn't do test print is because we printed at a place in the UK.
Mhm.
So that would have actually cost a lot to ship one over here. So
Yeah.
that's one reason. But the main reason is because we mixed and mastered for vinyl ourselves
Yeah.
instead of going to a place. So there's only so much we would learn from getting a test print back to tell us, okay, let's fix these things quick, because we just already did it as best as we could.
Mhm.
So we would have just spent the money to end up deciding, oh well, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Let's run it, you
Yeah.
know. So instead we put a crossfade in the middle, so we would have to repress everything.
This is our test print. We wanted
That's-
300 test
That's what
prints.
Yeah.
that's what we were talking about before the podcast.
There's
Yeah,
we're starting a new trend, 300 test prints.
yeah, we just want to make damn sure.
So instead, we're just gonna get real creative on what to do with these 300 copies.
Yeah, that's true.
If anyone has any ideas, that would be awesome.
Yeah, mine was just smash them on stage.
Yeah, and I do. We
I
should
mean,
definitely
that's
do a
not
few of those.
bad idea.
Yeah, I think.
Put one on
uh,
like your cymbal rack. Just
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I think our parents were talking about hanging a bunch of them for our vinyl release show. Like,
Yeah.
just because they're all transparent blue. So
oh,
just,
it's like in the back.
yeah,
That would actually
which would
be
look
pretty
cool, too.
That'd
But
be cool.
We were
Yeah.
thinking like melting them down and making bowls and cutting the middles out and making coasters and selling those and stuff. So I don't know. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Or even, I mean, somebody that might want one. as like something to hang, like a art piece or something.
That can be too, or like.
We made one into a clock that's upstairs.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So you can always keep a couple around for people who are just like, I just got no money. Can I please have your album?
I thought
don't
about
want
that
out there though.
I thought about that, and that's just sad. I don't want to give them something with a crossfade. That's.
Yeah.
You rather give them the good one.
Yeah.
My philosophy on that is if just getting it out, if you want the best product out there, you don't, if they don't have any money and that they're down, it's like, here, take it. This is the real deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that crossfade, like, as I'm handing that to them, I would be like,
don't play track 3.
fuck.
Skip that one.
Scratch the shit out of that whole
just
track.
scratch it out.
Yeah, just try to take out track 3.
Yeah. So explain a little bit. So that evolution in a sense, or the chronology of like you put out the digital one. Did you pull that down now? So is there some people that have a version of the album that's not available anymore?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we released the digital in August 2016, and then, like I said, remixed it for 7 months, and then re-uploaded the new version. And no one can get the old version anymore.
What are some of the significant differences between the different mixes, and why did you feel you needed to mix it more?
I don't know, like
The biggest one is Andrew Joslyn.
Oh
Yep.
yeah,
That's the whole reason basically for doing it.
Well, no.
No? That's the main reason for me for doing it.
That's the biggest change, right?
Andrew Joslyn recorded a bunch of strings for us on the last song, the Overture, which turned out really amazing.
Yeah.
We did not tell him what to do. We're like, hey, can you do this thing? And he's like, yeah, send me the files.
Yeah.
And then he just sent us back like
full string section.
Yeah, I thought like
composition
he
to
was
the whole
going to
song.
record like a violin, not like a full on composition. And it was crazy. And the reason we didn't have him before we were done with the digital version is because I think he either didn't see the message when I wrote him back in like April, or for whatever reason, or because he's really super busy. But he finally got back to us like as we were releasing or after we released, I can't remember, the digital version. And we're like, let's do it, and we'll remix it for CD and put it in. But I had already planned on remixing some of the stuff for CD anyways, because
surprising.
because some of the because
break it down.
That's right, we didn't talk about how that mixing process happened, getting the master back and hating it, and then and part of it was our fault because it wasn't mixed real good yet. So the mastering engineer we went to, I think, did as good as he could, but also there's some stuff we didn't like about the mastering. There's also some stuff we definitely didn't like about what we did. So we remastered it ourselves the day of our digital release. And then
classic.
Like the morning of,
the morning of, up until we had to pack our instruments up and go to the show. And then we released it that night. But then that's another reason why I wanted to redo all of it before we actually put money into printing it, because it was such a rush job. And I think that paid off. But I mean,
it's true. The whole album was made how many months before the release? He booked his release. That's what happened. You booked the release show and said, I will finish the album by that day. And it was only like a quarter, half tracked, just instruments.
And some parts not written.
Yeah, stuff not written. I was impressed, and then he pulled it off and made the whole album.
I think
finish.
you mentioned,
all of these guys did. You
mentioned you needed that. You wanted that motivation. You wanted to get it done. Not just keep pushing it, because you've been working on music. You've been wanting to put out new music for a while.
I mean, at that,
for a long time, for years, ever since you moved here.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
we moved here with some stuff like 8 years ago or something. And that was kind of the stuff we just played around, and then I got really sick of it.
Other than the fact that you're still waiting on the new batch of vinyl, is this album done?
Yeah.
It's
done.
I'm not saying it's done.
Ian doesn't. No comment.
I'm not saying it's done until I have that new vinyl in my hand, and that's the one we're going with at this point.
So when that happens, when there's vinyl and it's printed and it sounds good and it's right, Are
then-
you gonna ever turn back to this album? Or are you
No.
just gonna? Is it time
not
to move
allowed.
on?
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't
hold
say
on.
yes. What?
I have an idea that I think would be cool if we like remixed some dubstep versions. or
Oh,
something.
Oh,
Okay,
that's a remix album. That's
yeah,
different.
no, I know,
That's
but I'm
different.
still.
This
Yeah.
album's done.
Let's
Fuck
do
that
that.
shit.
Let's do that. Let's make
Yeah,
sure that
everyone
happens.
wants this
Yeah.
thing to
I
be
love
done.
remixes.
Yeah, Ian's also started recording a solo version of the album too.
Oh,
that's
oh
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. We went up
Actually
to
beautiful. It's really cool.
it's Icicle Creek Center for the Arts by Leavenworth.
Okay.
And they have like a beautiful facility like in the middle of nowhere, where they have practice spaces that you can practice in, but they also have grand pianos.
Okay.
And we just went up there to record a few solo things with some of the songs off the album. And I think we're gonna promote the vinyl with like a video of that, and then people who bought the vinyl will get those versions for free.
Okay. So
We're not exactly sure what we're gonna do with it yet, but
will you also do like a vinyl release show when it comes out?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
yeah, that's the thing. We didn't want to do a CD release because it was kind of one of those like we already did a digital release, and if we did a CD release and then a vinyl, it's just like it's overkill. Plus, CD is still digital, so
Yeah.
it's still like it's just like a physical digital release.
Yeah.
So it's kind of dumb. But
It would have been funny.
So you have an actual CD as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you seen it?
No,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I don't think
That's
I've
right.
seen it. But
You gotta give one to you.
so I was just curious. So did you do research on mastering for vinyl then, and tweak the master based on what you learned?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the main thing with vinyl, and I'm gonna sound really
Cool. Thanks.
like I'm gonna sound like I know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah. Cool, man. Hey, you've done it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Twice.
I mean, for our album, I just really went back into the mastering that we did for the CD,
Mm.
and I rolled off a lot of the high, and then made sure the bass that we had put in the CD version, I brought back down a little bit just to make sure the needle didn't skip or anything like that. We didn't run into any like disaster problems when they were trying to make the plates.
Yeah.
Is that because when you have too much bass, the grooves get so deep
Yeah.
that the needle drops way down?
Uh-huh. So, yeah, so that's the thing. Like, oh, also the panning. It wasn't too bad for us because we didn't do anything. I mean, we have a lot of stuff hard pan left or right. But
Yeah.
That's okay. There was actually one thing right in the very first like 10 seconds of the album where we have a bassy part panning from the left to right, which is I think like a big no-no.
Yeah.
But I really wanted that, so I'm just like, fuck it, we'll just leave it and see what happens. But I just made sure to bring the bass part of
I mean,
it
it
down.
sounds fine.
Although, yeah, it seemed like they did a
You
good
ca-
job.
Took off the bass a little bit.
Yeah, I just rolled off the bass a little bit, but that kind of stuff, I guess, can really screw things up too. If you have a bunch of panning that's going from left to right and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's all stuff I learned from Google. So I mean,
Cool.
anyone can just Google that shit and do their own master.
It's true. You got proof right here.
There you go.
So now that the recording is done for all intents and purposes, it's like what's on the agenda now? Like, what is the hopes of Among Authors to do with this body of work, and kind of
Body of work being this actual album.
yeah, like I mean a lot of why I phrase it that way is oftentimes people will, tour it or promote it or whatever. They'll rest in the music they just made by playing it out a lot or whatever. What is your agenda around now that you have this? What are you going to do with it?
Trying to sell someone while we write some new music.
I'm pretty sure it's
Well,
like
how do you want to sell them?
as far as my perspective, I don't know. I think it's that Ian really wanted to release music. I have a feeling that he's ready to move on already.
That's
to
I think in
making new
general,
music.
we all are ready to
Yeah.
move on and get some new stuff rolling.
Yeah, I think
It's
it was just to
exciting.
have an album as this band.
Okay.
And to have a place, something to sell at shows, some material to perform, and just like have a starting kickoff point.
That's basically it. I feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice to tour it. We don't have a van. Like, touring is difficult.
Yeah.
We've like tried to figure this out a few times. We don't exactly know how to go about it.
We haven't.
It's gonna take some planning for sure.
The most difficult part about that is all of our band members work full-time jobs for good reason, because Seattle can go fuck itself as far as price goes. But it makes it really difficult to, especially if the full-time jobs aren't on salary or something like that. It becomes like, if you're not there, you're not making money. You're not just getting a bunch of money while you're going on tour. So that makes it difficult for TJ. That makes it difficult for John. That makes it, everyone. It's like, so if we tour, it'd be like a week or something, and even then, I don't know what TJ can do or what, we haven't really. I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
I think it's possible. I think it's just a matter of.
So you don't think it's possible?
I think it's possible. I think it's just it would take some serious planning. We have to be really smart about it. As, like Ian said about schedules and everything.
From my experience, is like you want to be thinking at least 6 months out. And so that's a lot of that's a good amount of time to figure it out. Because with the tour, with booking, it's like you start emailing venues, and if you especially if you don't have hookups, you're just trying to like
throw it out there.
Come on, please let us play, kind of stuff. And it's like the more you're on it every day for like 6 months, you'll eventually get a tour book.
Honestly, like that the booking part is like the least of my worries right now. It's just the organizing of who in this band can actually commit to a week, and it's not like they don't want to commit. It's just life is very hard to make things like that.
Well, money.
A commitment.
Money's the, what is the One Ring? It's kind of like that aspect of things.
The One Ring?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
The evil binds us all together in this weird.
The evil money aspect.
Straight nerdy for me.
It's like, but anyways.
Dude, I don't know. I can't speak for TJ really, so I'll let him talk about touring. But we've kind of talked very briefly a few times about, would this even be possible? And it's kind of just like,
maybe.
One of the things, one of the things for me that I've always I've gone on this crazy evolution of what a tour means and why to do it and what those levels of it, but also like the time length of it. It's like I used to think a tour meant a month at least or something.
Yeah.
But then I'm realizing, a tour can be a weekend, honestly.
I know.
Yeah,
so it's
totally.
like there's a lot of ways that it can be created with a lower impact on the things that we're talking about.
For sure. I know a lot of friends who do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go to Eastern Washington and Idaho adventure.
Yeah.
Go to Oregon.
we definitely need to do something like that.
Yeah, we need to basically stop playing Seattle.
We haven't even played Tacoma.
And if you're willing,
we have.
If you're willing to grind it, you can make it
ago.
to San Francisco in a weekend. Played 2 shows.
Yeah, that's a serious trip.
But it's possible, and I honestly think it's worth it.
Yeah, I've been to LA in 21 hours.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, dude.
You can do it pretty quick.
Yeah. But cool. Well, that's cool. That's one of the things that's you're figuring out as a band. I love that kind of conversation on the podcast.
Yeah, honestly, and the more I think about touring, it's super essential, and I think it makes you better as a band.
Yeah.
I also just don't know how I feel about the business side of that and where we're at.
Yeah.
If it's better focused on trying to get licensing right now, which I am trying to focus on, and I just our music can be heard if we play a show, which is the best way to hear it, I feel like, for sure. But also, I feel like I could be wrong, but it seems like if you want to be trying to make money in music right now, licensing is a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it should be up there on the priority list for sure. It's the way I see it is everything but playing locally should be on the priority list. It's licensing, touring, online presence, doing stuff, but playing just in your own city should be way down on the bottom rungs of things. It's
I mean, that there's some truth to that for sure.
I disagree completely.
Yeah.
I agree in the capitalist sense, but
Yeah.
I don't. I think that like performing and being a part of like music and happenings is like where it's at.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you definitely want to play, but the amount that this scene plays in our scene
Yeah.
over and over, same bands, all it's like, okay, guys, we've seen you.
Yeah.
Time to get out
I mean,
there.
that's a big problem.
Yeah,
for,
there's a lot of shows to go to.
Yeah, like I don't want to speak for any other band, but I know even for ourselves, we are right now. I feel like at that point where it's like this awkward stage where we're like, yeah, we should book another show, and then we book the show, and we're like, all right, we're playing another show, and it's not really any momentum being built up, and it really wears out all the amazing people who keep coming. Like there's multiple people who we've seen at almost every single show, and I mean we've lucked out. They've told us every time like, oh, it's different, like even though these guys are playing the same songs, it's always different. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know how that's
well, because we screw stuff up and then fix it a lot.
That's the
ends up being
beautiful
different.
mistakes happen every time.
Well, that's the best. That's why we go to live music.
Yeah.
It's not for the perfection. It's for the what is gonna be different. What is the mistakes are actually
For the
important.
drama.
So were you at that Sunset show when I hit my frequency knob instead of the volume knob?
I was, but I don't remember.
I detuned my whole piano and then moved my hands because I thought my hands were in the wrong place. And then I fixed the frequency, and then my hands were still in the wrong place. And
Nice.
It was the worst.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Yeah,
I didn't really know how to fix that one.
It's avant-garde,
That's true.
But I mean, what we're dabbling here a little bit in is this idea of, yes, there's a ton of shit that needs to be done to be a musician in the current climate of being a musician, and I'm a firm advocate that just playing shows and playing your instrument, that's a given. You need to do that. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And are you willing to work it? Are you willing to put the work in to do everything else, like all the online, all that stuff we've kind of been dabbling, talking about, touring, online presence, things like that. So
Yeah.
There's so much work that gets done. Like me and Ian are on the same like amongauthors@gmail.com email address.
Yeah.
Email us. Anyways, we're on that email, and I see everything that goes through there.
yeah.
And it's all from Ian emailing, I don't even know who, but like random people to Icicle Creek people to licensed music, bookers. There's like 10 emails a day that like run through that thing that I'm constantly seeing Ian communicate with people. And it's like crazy. I mean,
know.
there's so much more work than just playing an instrument.
And honestly, that stuff it's enjoyable when people write you back too. It's like, oh my god, something's working. Like that's nice. And when they don't, it's like, fuck my life. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
I'm wasting a bunch of time on the computer. But
One thing, well, if it's a local thing, one thing I've discovered is Seattle's version of no is not answering. So
Yes. Yes,
yeah,
it
you
is.
just follow up.
So
It's
those-
with bands
times.
too, when bands don't answer you.
So stop. You don't have to go like, I wonder, what are they? You just go, oh, they mean no because they didn't say anything. So and that helps me anyway.
See, that's
Do you find that common in other cities?
Well, I
too?
haven't,
Or is it-
Seattle's my city, so
All right.
I haven't really
it's
dealt too much with other cities.
what's funny is that's not just the music scene in Seattle. That is Seattle. Because I was trying to apply for a job once, and I had worked with this person already before in a different job, and they didn't write me back, and they just kept ignoring it. And then finally they wrote me back after I like followed up multiple times. But like, every 2 weeks I was like responsible about it and respectable about it. But he finally wrote back and he was super pissed off. He's like, dude, I don't have a position right now. Like, I'm like, okay, well, just
You could have told me that.
I know.
You could say, no, sorry, we're full.
Oh yeah.
We're
Anyways,
halfway through. Let's drop in some music.
Cool.
What do you want to do?
I say we do the overture. 'cause,
Overture.
Yeah, we were talking about Andrew Joslyn. He plays.
Yeah, this has the strings on it.
Yeah, he plays strings on this one, and this one, this was the one that was like ridiculous to have to mix because it was like a full blown. Once we put the strings in there, I didn't know
Everything was different.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah, I actually did a really weird thing where I hard panned the Rhodes and I hard panned the piano left and right
Okay.
to get it out of the middle,
Mhm.
and then it just opened up the chorus. It Yeah, I found that out like last minute. It was kind of cool.
Cool.
Just saw you check in. This is the last song on the album, in case you were wondering.
I wanted to make sure the album is called
I Am Become.
I Am Become.
Yeah.
So anything else we want to talk about the Overture? Any of you want to mention something?
No.
We're good. We're good. All right, let's drop it in. So it's called the Overture.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we have a whole bunch of family singing in the beginning in the choir.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And our dad plays like mandolin. And there's an accordion in there
Actually,
that our
a whole bunch of
sister's
stuff
playing.
in the song. Yeah.
Cool.
Whatever.
There's
Let's drop
like
it in.
20 people in this
All right.
song.
So this is the Overture by among authors off of I Am Become.
And the Ketterer Family Band.
Oh, I'm feeling so cold. What's the future for a dying soul? Or is there one I'd really like to know? Because oh, I'm feeling so if I ever learn that the earth doesn't turn, I'll be resting my head on a blood-covered bed. All alone I will lay as my confidence sways from the future I had planned to the present that's at hand. I'm all alone. I'm just making sure the truth I heard was I always win. Oh, because the overture, he wants to keep the minor chord in. Oh, my memories fade. Oh, how I wish they could all stay locked in my heart. This is the end, and pretending will no longer lend itself to give my heart the hope that it needs to be. I'm holding on to nothing as if it were gold. I could use as currency to buy my way home. Why ask a question I already know to be true? Oh, I'm through, 'cause all my memories fade. And oh, how I wish they could all stay locked in my heart.
All right, so we were talking about touring and just all the stuff that has to go into being a band and all that stuff. I think we covered that pretty well. I'd like to catch up the current state of Among Authors and get TJ, how TJ got involved with the project and kind of where that's all going. Just kind of fill us in, like, how you got involved and what,
all right.
Yeah.
I've known Ian for quite a while. He moved from Wisconsin. Did you move from Wisconsin too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I kind of forgot your origins.
Except I spent like 4 years down in Eugene, Oregon.
Okay.
Before I moved back up here.
Cool.
So, prior.
I like Eugene, all right?
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah. But I've known him a long time. I played drums for him for a little bit when he first moved here. He just like trying out different drummers. I guess it didn't work the first time.
Okay, hold on.
What?
I've talked to you about this before. It didn't work mainly because my headspace was very controlling.
Yeah.
And I was a very like, do this, and
Yeah.
and so if anyone wasn't doing kind of what I wanted or was thinking in my head really, it's like, well, I guess we'll have to work with someone else. And TJ is very creative in his own right.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah, we got along just fine. It just wasn't like
ended
exactly
up
what you were looking for the music at your time. But now you got like this much more broad spectrum of like what we can do. Also, I'm a lot better drummer now. Much better drummer now. Drumming's not my first instrument.
Honestly, that wasn't even in the issue. It was only it was my headspace.
Mm-hmm.
And my headspace is very much more open, I feel like, now, as far as, I mean, someone can correct me if I'm
It
wrong.
is. I mean, you're obviously creatively controlling, but that's like why this album worked.
Yeah, it's just your
like it's your
project
vision.
so far.
But I mean, it's not like we can't speak up or create things or add to that at this point.
Yeah, every band needs a role. I mean, somebody actually needs to take lead on it. So, you know, Ian is the lead on it. He's the front man.
I think the main thing that changed for me is I'm much less uptight when it comes to playing a show or doing anything in the music realm. And honestly, I think TJ taught me that.
Yeah.
Way back when. I think TJ had when we were playing with him.
I gave him a good lesson in shamelessness by playing some ridiculous shows in front of people and doing some ridiculous things.
Dude, I mean, TJ has a really good energy on stage and with his own stuff. And when I moved here, I wasn't in that headspace yet.
Mm-hmm.
I was in I need to play everything perfect and I need to make sure that this is like, which made me fuck up a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm not like that at all.
Yeah, Ian's definitely grown into much more like an energetic presence. I mean, he's always had a lot of like power on stage, but now it's a lot more like emotional energy, like just charged and not so focused on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting a lot more dynamic, a lot more particular and focused, but I think it starts more with the raw energy, and now it's like falling into a pocket where we can like listen a lot easier and like we're a lot more attentive while we're performing. Yeah.
Well, and that was thanks to TJ.
Well, catch us up to how you got in the second time.
All right. Well, the first time was fun, though. I remember showing up to the first practice, and we didn't have a drum kit, except for, like, we brought what we had of drum kit pieces, and I ended up playing, like, a bass drum with my hands because we had no bass drum pedal, so it was just, like, bass drum, snare drum, and a cymbal, like, drumming with my hands the whole time. Basically, like, relearning how to play a drum set and trying to play these, like, fast 6/8 beats, like... that stuff. Fired on my birthday. No.
What? Seriously?
Happy birthday, TJ.
It's all good. No. It was totally natural. It was totally fine with me. Everything was fine. He didn't know it was my birthday.
Once I found that out too, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I did not know it was. And oh man, that was the worst.
It was fine. Maybe it was just like a little spiritual awakening for Ian. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Just fucking with you.
Oh man.
But Ian went through a bunch of drummers. They have all been really good. I've watched a bunch of them. They're all been excellent. And then something happened with his last drummer while they were recording the album. And Ian was like, "We got a CD release show, and I want you to play. Would you play?" And I was like, "Sure, let's do this." And I don't know. I love playing drums. Ian's a good friend, and I really like supporting his music, and I like the band, and I like the music. And
well, I love personally. I've seen you now quite a few times. I think I missed one drummer in there, through the evolution. But I love the energy you bring to the band, watching you on stage.
Thank you.
And just, I think it's a great fit. So,
I do too.
Whatever.
I love it. I love playing with TJ.
Cool.
Like, he
Yeah.
specifically does weird stuff to annoy me and stares at me when he does it. And it's funny.
Yeah, Jay's got all these very repetitive parts that kind of land on the one in different spots. It's
Yeah.
like, but that's not the 1 and 4s. It's like it
Yeah.
shifts around.
TJ trying to throw him
And
off.
So I'll throw in like the uncomfortable, like where's the 1, where's the 1, where's the 1, and Jay's always just like in the pocket, no matter what, pretty much.
And then I'm just sitting there going, I'll let them figure that out.
Yeah, Ian knows where it is.
So what we wanted to do for sure this time around is get more of your voices. I mean, we're doing a pretty good job so far, but we could do a better job.
We could do a better job. I'll stop talking.
So what I'm
right
gonna
now.
do is go into individual question mode a little bit.
Cool.
And I have a few questions that I like to ask, and we'll see where it plays out. But the one thing that's been really on my mind a lot lately is just idea of support. And I wanted to find out individually. We'll go around the circle, or whoever wants to start is fine. But I wanted to find out from you individually who in your musical journey, specifically in your musical journey, but you can broaden it even farther, has supported you the most, has encouraged you, it could be a person, it could be an idea, it could be just something random, it could be abstract, it could be physical, but what has supported your process of continuing this journey the most? And then I'd like to find out, if you're willing, this is always the hardest thing to get people to talk about, is there something that you would like to see more of in terms of support for what you're doing as a band, or even scene-wise, or individually? If you want to go there, you can. You don't have to if you don't want to. But let's just start off with the safe place of who has helped you, who has supported you, what idea, what thing. Who wants to go first? Anybody?
I'll try.
TJ.
I'm a good icebreaker.
Okay, TJ. And then we'll go around the circle to make it easy.
I'd say like my dad was
Okay.
a major supporting role
Sure.
for most of my life. He got me into music. Basically, he was like, "Oh, you don't like sports? Try this sport. You don't like that sport? Try this sport." And he's like, "Oh my god, he likes guitar." And then he just like showered me with instruments and shit. It was just like, "Do this, do this."
So you said earlier, drums is not your main instrument. What do
No,
you consider your main instrument?
Probably my voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I started on guitar. I mean, I started on trumpet, played that a little while,
Yeah.
got into guitar, kept trumpet around, got in drums, play all the other stuff
Yeah.
now.
So you do some keyboards as well then?
Yeah.
Like just anything that's needed in a
Yeah.
way? You're kinda
I can play anything except for like a woodwind or a wind
Okay.
instrument. I got brass, but
Okay, cool.
Honestly, I think TJ's main instrument is his head.
is my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely more composer-y.
Oh,
than-
okay, sure.
I think I don't put a lot of like mastery into specific instruments, but more into like trying to
So
create
was your
something.
dad a musician as well then? At
No,
all?
my dad actually joined me in guitar lessons right when I started,
Okay.
and was like, "I'll learn with you." And
Okay.
he's just like
That's awesome.
kind of discouraged because he was like hitting so many walls just
Oh,
starting at that age,
yeah.
and watching like his like 12-year-old son just be like faster and faster.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was gonna say, I remember talking to TJ's dad specifically at his house once, and that conversation came up, and it was exactly that. It was like, he was like, "Yeah, I learned with TJ, and he just became so good, and I was just really horrible." And I got kind of frustrated. I'm like, how is this 12-year-old understanding this? And I just can't get it. But he's also an artist, though,
yeah,
right? So he's
Yeah,
like
he's
a
got a-
physical
yeah.
artist. So he's definitely creative, too.
yeah, super creative, but struggles with the music and rhythm and timing, I think.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But my dad was a big sport to begin with. He's
Yeah.
not around a lot now because he's got a lot going on. I got a lot going on. But I'd say my wife Christina is like the
Okay.
biggest supporter in the world because I had a huge hiatus of making music of my own for a very long time, and I think it's because I just like really got depressed, obsessive, crazy in the brain, like miserable. And then ever since I've known Christina, I've just been like a little bit more stable in my mind, and
Yeah.
and that's really helped me starting to write music and having like I don't know, just like a safe place to make music. And like, because I thought, I mean, like a lot of people think that music or creativity comes from pain and stuff like that, and I do believe that's a part of it, but like to create when you are miserable, you don't end up with something. You can produce like art or sound or whatever in a moment of emotion, but you don't end up with like something you can hold on to. And I think like if you have like a slight amount of stability, if you're in like a working mode, is usually how you end up with something
so
real.
True.
Yeah. So I didn't make music. Like I produced like noises and emotions for a long time, but nothing ever, like nobody could enjoy it besides me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it all depends on your own version of expression, right?
Yeah.
And like for me, it's actually very helpful to put the emotion in a structured format so that it actually gets out of me, you know? And then so I can write songs based on that. And so it's like it's very like so there's all different ways to express. Yeah. Which is what we're talking about, which is awesome.
You're saying you put up a pattern and then find a way to express yourself through it?
Yeah. Well, I can write a song. So I got from you that you have a hard time writing a song or writing a structure or something tangible that you can then, when you're in an emotional state. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's like I use that emotion to write the song. Mm-hmm. You know.
I mean, I do that too.
Okay.
That's usually like you come out with that like one raw piece that you have to like later build upon, which is always very tricky. But yeah, I do make stuff out of emotional moments. But like when you're like disturbed, if it's more like the like messed up in the head, not just like defeated like blue misery sadness. That stuff's easy for me to conform into like material, but like
not when he's writing death metal, you know.
No, I was through a big metal phase for a second there and didn't write a single song.
I found though the metal guys and stuff, the metal community is like the most like teddy bearish community.
Oh yeah,
it's so crazy.
That is so true.
I love that. The whole metal scenes, like the shows are comfortable. Like people will just be like air guitaring, air drumming. People will be like sleeping. People will be like just so comfortable in those rooms. It's awesome.
Cool. Is there anything else you wanted to add to your journey of support of anything?
I don't know. I'd like imagine a world where musicians are less individualized and venues are less individualized, and it's less like gather 4 bands, find a bar that supports these 4 bands, and like move the money around, and more like I don't really know what the vision would be, but definitely just something where we all like think about everybody in the room as well as the bands and like more collaborations. Just I don't know, more community.
I get it. That's that idea's come up before, so it's like not foreign.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's
like,
not a foreign idea.
How can we as a broader community support each other?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. That's like what TJ's project is all about.
Cool.
I mean, his new project.
Yeah, I'm trying to involve the audience as much as possible.
We'll definitely talk about that before we end.
So let's keep doing these questions.
Yeah,
these are good questions.
Jonathan?
I think, as a band or bands in general, it's always been a struggle, hasn't it? In communities, just kind of, bands are always struggling to make money, paying to play places. I think
paying to play.
Yeah, I think communities in general need to be more aware in the music scene, and how hard it is for musicians to survive doing this, because we can't. We have to work full-time jobs, But as far as, I think, I don't want to say most musicians, but a lot of musicians have this ingrained early on, like from childhood, and that's why we stick with it, stick with music. And I think I've talked about this before, but when I was young, my dad wasn't playing in bands, but he had instruments, and he had played in bands, but I never actually saw him play. But he had this broken-ass acoustic laying around, and I used to pick it up and try to play stuff on it. He tried to teach me some things here and there, but, he never really sat down and, teach me how to play it. But so I used to tinker around on a guitar when I was young, and kind of on and off, but it never left. When you're in music, it's hard to get away from it. You can't take it away from somebody. You just keep going back to it, and it's like we talked a little bit
from TJ on his birthday.
Yeah, right. He's trying to have that power. It's like, how can I take music away from people?
It helps for somebody that can't sit still like me. It helps to pick up something and play around. Otherwise, like when we talked, it's like you sit around and you get depressed. If you're not doing something. And that helps me as far as music, keep going and keep doing something. As far as support, I mean, obviously, parents have been supportive. As far as they bought my first electric guitar, and from there it's just I just kept going with it.
Cool.
And
Well, I like that. I like what you said just a moment ago too. Is like the support is actually the music itself. You know, it's like this.
oh yeah,
This like
it's
paradoxical.
like a therapy.
It's like
right?
a symbiosis
Absolutely.
arrangement with the music supports the music.
Uh-huh.
You know,
It's
and we're-
feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a cool concept. I mean, it's definitely I resonate with that for sure.
Yeah, and like, and I was talking about community versus individualism, but like, individually, like that's how music serves us. Like
Yeah.
we enjoy music probably more when we're like alone, hearing it so clearly and like so deep and focused into it.
Yeah.
That, like, I don't know.
There's nothing. There's like one of the best things in life is like putting on a record or a song and just being individual with it, sitting down on your couch or headphones or whatever, and just really listening.
Yeah.
It's such a, for me personally, it's such a like, oh, it's a drug, you know.
Yeah, it's a drug.
You
It's
just
a
sit
drugs.
down and just listen to it and flip through the lyric books.
Mhm. Yeah, totally.
Learn every lyric.
No, I get. I mean, I don't know if you guys listen to music like this, but I'll find a song and I'll just totally like days will go by where it's just that one song. I
Just
listen-
tear it apart. Like think about every little piece of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so the opposite. I just burn through music.
Yeah.
I'll listen to like 5 new albums a day and never listen to them again. Just
Oh, yeah.
on and on and on
Yeah,
and on like that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love that diversity.
We do both.
How
Yeah.
things go. Cool. Thank you, Jonathan. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna go now. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I talked about this in the last podcast a bit, but obviously, my family is huge as far as inspirations go. Because my whole family was musical. They still are musical. Everyone plays instruments. They had a band growing up that I was in, and we played a bunch of crazy stuff like Led Zeppelin and Dream Theater, and like, I didn't play Dream Theater, but they did.
Yeah.
Played some Extreme though.
Extreme. They
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I did play trumpet on some Extreme songs. That was awesome. But so I mean that's a given. Like
Yeah.
family definitely always supported me and Jay. And they are still huge supporters, and even though they're all in Wisconsin, I mean
Yeah.
they're the first ones to repost something on Facebook, and the first one, you know, I hate to bring Facebook into it, but you know,
I love Facebook.
it's just yeah. But when you're talking about family, and that's how you're talking
Yeah.
about them, it's
Facebook is for family.
Facebook. Yeah.
Well, it's just another. I don't know. I'm a optimist, I guess, in some ways, and it's a way to communicate. You know.
I think it's a phenomenal
And
tool.
And so yeah.
It's just impersonable. It can be. So it's just sad when I'm talking about family as in an impersonable way.
Yeah. I guess.
But-
I don't know.
but-
Yeah.
but, I mean-
we can leave that. That's a whole
Yeah,
nother-
yeah,
the
but-
Facebook podcast. We'll do that. We'll do that one at some other
But
time.
they support in so many other ways than Facebook.
Yeah.
But the other big thing that I want to make sure we talk about is, I mean, one of the reasons really our name is what it is among authors. It was, besides just something we landed on, John had thought up an idea that we all kind of resonated on, with the fact that we are always among authors, people writing creative things, and being around a community of people in Seattle and
Yeah.
and everywhere else that are just doing what they want to be doing and always creating things, and it's amazing. And I feel that's one of the things that keeps me going,
Yeah.
like all the time, is being friends and having awesome friends in the community that actually genuinely support each other,
Yeah.
not just like say they're going to do something and never do it and whatnot. You know, I see multiple people that I know in other bands that are at our shows and vice versa, and I think that is so amazing, and I feel like that's something we didn't really have when we were in Wisconsin, really. But here it's much different.
Yeah. I just want to call back to something that TJ said earlier when we were talking about the booking of tours and stuff, and you asked me like, what's it like out there? Well, I don't know what it's like for that, but I do, now that I'm outside of the city and looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
One thing, what Ian's saying is so true, and I think taken for granted almost here, is the amount of creative thought, of original creative thought all these authors that are in this. It's ridiculous. It's
Cool.
there's just so much original thought going on in this city that it's something to kind of like reflect on for sure.
Yeah, and so many people working hard and getting albums out and printing. It's one thing to make something, but it's another thing to be able to sell it and be able to do, like, they're making things happen, and it's really inspiring to see everyone in the community have that thing.
Yeah,
And
I really like how many musicians are playing for musicians. Like, there's so much of that going on here.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is an important realization. That's a very, very important, talking about the podcast is the essence of it. One of the main points is discovering the culture of our scene, and what you just said is a huge part of the culture of our scene.
For sure.
It's like our fan base is the scene, is not some random fan base. It's like we are playing for each other. We have to support each other.
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
there's
That's
a good support here in
for
Seattle
sure.
between musicians.
Yeah,
it's good.
It also lets you get really weird with your music too, because like if it's for the masses, for the general populace, they're not gonna want to be like, oh, cool, more Moog, give me some more of that Mother 32. Yeah,
No, that's so true. Yeah, I mean, the community. I mean, the community as a whole, fans that don't play music are huge as far as lifting us up and telling us to keep going as well. I mean, I want to make sure that's that's clear. It's not just the musicians, everyone who comes to a show multiple times and keeps saying, oh, this is great. Like that, it's fucking awesome. I mean, people are awesome.
yeah. We've already talked about like the pitfalls of being musicians playing for musicians too, because like just the oversaturation of music, just like it's kind of like, man, I'm sick of going to shows. I'm sick of seeing bands. I'm sick of playing music. Like it's happening too.
That's true too. I mean, you're gonna have that. If you don't have that, you're kind of in denial.
Yeah, and that's what's wonderful about going out of Seattle is like people are like, music's happening. Yes, this is great.
That's true.
It's amazing. Like, that's an amazing concept that I haven't fully been able to tap into. Probably, maybe because of my style of music I play and stuff. But when people like will go to a venue and go, "Oh, music's happening," like you just said, like I want to be there even more now because music is happening. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's rad.
I want to shift over to Jason now and get some of your voice of.
The original question was like support, right? I mean, a lot of the same answers as Ian, obviously, because we have the same parents and the same family.
What?
So yeah, we're brothers.
I love brothers. I love family bands.
I love brothers,
you
man.
don't even know. Maybe I've mentioned it to you guys before, but whenever there's a band that I know there's a family relation inside of the band, I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. I just really get excited about that.
That's hilarious. But yeah, so I mean, my parents obviously have been amazing, and my whole family, and like the friends that I have, like every friend that I've made in Seattle has been to a show. Yeah, like every single one.
Multiple shows.
Yeah, almost all of them. Yeah. Like, it's crazy how supportive the friends I've made here are, and I've made friends in Seattle really quick. So I don't know about that Seattle freeze thing. Like, I didn't get that at all.
Hey, you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You're just fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
well, that helps. That helps for sure.
One thing I will say is, this is the first band I've been in, so I have no prior experience. I didn't really know how to play guitar when I got in the band. I still don't really know how to play guitar.
Cool.
Jumping into the band with John, already being a guitarist, he had no ego. He wasn't like, well, I'm a fucking guitarist in this band or whatever.
No, I was excited. I was like, hell yeah, Jay, let's play some stuff.
I mean, that's awesome. So that support is great.
Yeah.
Like, just this random ass dude doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Oh, be in the band. Like, all right, cool.
Word.
Like, and it's working out, I think.
It's I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, Jay comes up with a lot of creative things too. Like when we're writing, I can tell his headspace is like, I can tell when he's thinking, when he's like looking off into a direction.
Yeah.
That our brown wall.
Yeah. Yeah, the poop wall. Like, that's the creative spot. But no, I mean, Sorry, this is Jay's conversation. I just wanted
I'm
to say,
done.
like,
Right? No, that was my whole support.
No,
Okay.
no, you can't be done yet. Come on.
I mean,
It's good. It's good.
I just wanted to say, I think with Jay, I think he honestly surprised me because I knew when we were talking about bringing him into the band, we both knew where he was guitar-wise, and he hadn't played in a band. Neither of us really cared.
Yeah.
Because he also came from the same family, so I knew how his head worked as far as thinking creatively.
Yeah.
So I felt like it would probably work. We just needed to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hash it out for a while.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened. So, I mean, now it's good, and he can play guitar despite what he thinks.
Yeah, and I've known these guys for a long time, and, you know, growing up, you know, what was inspiring for me was actually, it's funny, seeing Rapunzel play.
That's our family band, by
Yeah.
the way, back in the day.
So I came to this small town in the middle of nowhere thinking I'm the only kid with long hair. And I'm like, I see Ian walking around, I'm like, no way. I gotta know this kid. And then come to find out they like play in a band. I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
We had
Oh,
like this
man.
weird ass bus. Like that was our touring bus too.
Oh
Are
my
you
god, that
parked
bus.
in our
We
driveway?
actually had like Halo parties in that bus.
Yeah.
I think on the last time we had the podcast, we made the Partridge Family reference, but I
Yeah.
have to say it
Every
again.
time.
It's inevitable.
Have to say it
we
again.
can't
So
do
was
it.
the name Rapunzel because all of you guys had long
Yeah.
hair?
Yep.
Bunch
It's
of
classic.
hippies.
Here's why.
Cool.
Awesome. Well,
That's
I want to.
really cool.
I want to. Thanks, guys, for that. That was amazing. I want to jump back to TJ, and just because we've been teasing your other
I know,
project.
it's true.
So because we're
We got
about
a couple minutes
We're
here.
basically at the end. So just kind of give us just a little tease about your new project, your other project, and what you do and what it's all about.
All right. I just started it up. Tom and I. It's just me and Tom. It's a duo.
And what does Tom do?
He's playing keys and drum pads and microphone and percussion, and we have loop stations for both of us.
Okay.
And so we're both running through Ableton, and each of us can layer all sorts of instruments. I'm playing guitar and bass, and I have an Ableton Push, which is essentially just a MIDI controller thing, and trumpet and my voice. And so far it's like it's just focused on really repetitive, like comfortable vibes. It's more like get people having a good time, a lot of talking to the audience. I'm starting to come up with games.
Oh, okay.
We've only performed twice now, just starting this week.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for like more games to play with the audience, more like
So it's like a theater sports
yeah,
kind of
it's much
musical theater
yeah.
sport
I'm
as
definitely
well?
seeing like partnering up with more people and
Yeah.
like keeping it more like a party atmosphere
Oh,
vibe
cool.
thing going on. But also working on an album, and I've been a songwriter
Yeah.
most of my musical
So
life.
it's
and-
separate from that project, or with
no,
that
as
project?
part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because right now it's completely improvised. We're getting,
Oh,
we're
okay.
just going up there and just being like, "Hey guys," and then just start from
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And
Cool.
We've been trying to get more audience participation. So basically, like, I'm really trying to find a way to like open people up.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
yeah. It's difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super hard.
Yeah.
But
My goal has always been if I can make somebody smile. It's like we all know Seattle doesn't dance, right?
Uh-huh.
So I don't mind if they're not dancing, but if I can crack some smiles, I'm like, okay, I'm getting through.
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's really saying something if you get that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about our project some other day.
Yeah, we'll
Because
do
it's
that.
just starting and
Cool.
it's not branded. It's not anything yet.
Okay.
So right now it's just like if you happen
What I will
across it, you
say,
can.
it's fun to watch. Like I was just at his house. He played like a small show at his house. Thursday, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter because no one here knows what day it is.
Yeah, maybe 2 months later. So.
Yeah.
2 years.
Anyways,
Oh, yeah.
so he was like
I love
messing
the-
around with
yeah,
some
sorry.
stuff. Sorry, he was like messing around with some stuff. I didn't know where it was going. I don't think he knew where it was going. And it was like, I don't know what's going on. And then it molded into something that was like super cool and like brought the audience in and everything. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm just total tangent right now. I just thought of something. The first time right here. We'll go around and maybe keep it short. What do you, because of the time vortex of a podcast, this is a time capsule we're in like this no man's land of swirling vortex of wormhole-ness, time, whatever's going on. So what do each of you want to say to your future self?
Can you believe Trump used to be president?
That's good. No, let's keep going around. I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but try it.
I want to say to my future self, don't forget about the people who inspire you to keep doing the thing that makes you forget about all the people who inspire you.
That's pretty well put. I like that.
It's really important, and that happened multiple times on our current album, I Am Become, and my wife inspires me every single day, and it's very important to not forget that.
I think that I agree with that a lot. You know, keep driven, keep getting inspired, and you know, as far as the Among Authors name, just the bigger generalized theory of what that means to me is just, you know, keep writing your own life the way you want it.
Eat organic.
I'm gonna play along.
I
too.
second that.
I'm gonna play along too. Zim, you made it. You never gave up. Good job.
Nice.
Let's
Ian, you failed.
no. Stop it. Let's drop in. We're done. So let's drop in some music. The last song we want to do. This was awesome, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I loved it.
I
feel it.
love getting together with you.
I feel the vibration, man. My vibrations have risen. Yeah, I feel it.
Word, me too.
Awesome.
Also, everyone should check out the Zim's music.
That's true.
Cool. Thanks.
I mean, he does this shit, so people should listen to it.
Yeah.
Let's
as
listen to
far as our
Lure.
songs.
Yeah.
How about Lure?
Lure or Bitter Truth, either one.
Oh, you guys choose.
Lure is 9 minutes. Do you
That's
want to do
fine.
that?
No,
Cool,
it's
let's
all
do
good.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Lure.
excellent. That's my fave.
Lure. So 9 minutes. Anything else? What makes it your fave?
I think it just really gets into a hypnotic space.
Cool.
That's something I'm very into.
This is the one Heather Thomas is on too. By
Oh,
the way.
true. Heather
Which-
Thomas plays drums and she's dope. She's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
like just trying to pull off some of the stuff she's doing, and basically just had to be like, never mind. I'm doing my own style.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Cool.
Dude.
And Heather's been on the podcast a few times, so
Cool.
Yeah.
we know about Heather. She's amazing. Anything else we want to?
I may have touched base on this at the last podcast. I can't remember, but this is also the song that Heather recorded, but she recorded the chorus that was completely different, and we rewrote the chorus after she already recorded her drums.
Okay.
Completely rewrote it, and just made her drums work with it, and it
Okay.
it turned
cool.
out good. But
Cool.
yeah, it was funny to show her it because that wasn't what she played to.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks again, you guys. Always a pleasure to talk and chat with you guys.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
So glad. I'm glad I'm getting to know you now, TJ. But I'm super grateful and thankful for the friendship and relationship that we've been developed over the last 7-8 years now. Pretty
Dude.
awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Forever.
Pretty awesome.
Zim got us our first show.
Yep.
What?
Cool. Was it the Twilight Show in Forks?
No. Oh no.
First show in Seattle.
First show. Yeah. First official show. I mean that Twilight thing.
That was practice.
Soft opening.
outside.
All right, well, here's The Lure by Among Authors off I Am Become. And remember to always party at the Moon Tower. All right, we made it to the end of another version of Word on the Street. Thanks a lot for joining this week, 143. We did it. Awesome. If you want to continue the journey of the podcast, one of the best ways to do it is to go to YouTube, youtube.com/thezimvideo. Every week I publish a video journal about my musical and artistic journey, and I talk more about the podcast itself, some, often very more personal related things, behind the scenes stuff, what it was like for me, and sometimes if there's any corrections that need to be made. Lately, I haven't actually been able to listen back to the entire podcast, so I need you to tell me if there's any problems with it, for starters. So if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to reach out if there's something crazy happen. But I've just been working really hard these days, and I don't have the opportunity to. I just don't have an hour of time to listen to a podcast. It's kind of weird in that way. I drive for Lyft, and I've been spending a lot of time driving for Lyft these days to make ends meet, to make money, to make sure this podcast and other things can actually keep going. And when I'm in the car, it's just not conducive to listening to podcasts. Yeah, I'm in that car that much. Because when I'm not working, I'm exhausted and I'm not really trying to listen to this podcast again. So just, keeping it real with you, letting you know what's going on. If you want to talk to me, I'd love to hear from you. So hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Word on the Street Podcast, or on email, it's Word on the Street Podcast at Word on the Street Podcast at hotmail.com. Yeah, that's it. So, until next week, peace.